Hey everyone, welcome back to the Haunted Corner. I'm Ashton, and today we've got another spooky one to talk about. Today we're discussing the Hotel Monte Vista, a cute little hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I'm adding this one to my bucket list for sure. Let's get into it. In the mid-1920s, tourism was on the rise in Flagstaff, and the residents agreed that the town needed a hotel to accommodate the rise in visitors. So, they got to work raising money to fund their project. And within a month, between donations from the citizens and funds donated by novelist Zane Grey, they had raised about $200,000. Construction began on June 8th of 1926, and the 73-room hotel opened its doors on New Year's Day of 1927. Originally named the Community Hotel, it was one of the only hotels in America that was publicly owned at the time. Sitting just off historic Route 66, the location made a prime destination for people just passing through, and the hotel quickly made a name for itself, where locals birthed the phrase, "Meet me at the Monte V." A contest was later held to choose a name for the hotel, and a 12-year-old girl won the contest and named the hotel the Monte Vista, which means mountain view. A light atop the hotel served as an emergency signal for Flagstaff in the 1930s. Flashing, it would alert local authorities and citizens of hazards and catastrophes in and around town. Early on, a woman named Mary Costigan came to the hotel, bringing with her her very own radio show. In 1927, Mary became the second woman in the world to receive a radio broadcasting license. Originally from Detroit, Mary relocated to Flagstaff to help her brother, John, and his business partner, John Weatherford, run the majestic opera house, now the Orpheum. While at the Opera House, she set up a 25-watt radio station backstage, but she quickly realized that she needed more space. In 1929, Mary moved her radio show, called KFXY, to the Monte Vista Hotel. More than 400 residents showed up for her first broadcast, kicking off the powerful 100-watt show, airing 3 hours a day out of room 105. With prohibition in full force, all of the bars were forced to close. But the Hotel Monte Vista was somewhere you could escape to enjoy the finer and more illegal things in life. Under the guise of a newspaper publishing house, the Cocktail Lounge was reportedly running a large bootlegging operation until it was shut down by local authorities in 1939. Apparently, the tunnels below Flagstaff were used to move illegal items through the town quietly. Oh, tunnels? Yeah, there's said to be tunnels underground snaking through Flagstaff from Northern Arizona University through downtown Flagstaff. After a large fire in the early 1900s damaged buildings in Flagstaff, Chinese migrant workers were blamed for the fire because of their cooking and cleaning practices, reportedly. Just racist bullshit. But after that, they began to use these systems to get around town without being harassed by locals. Businesses, including the Weatherford Hotel, Babbitt's Backcountry, and the Monte Vista Hotel, have access to these basement tunnels. And the story is that the tunnels were used to smuggle moonshine, host illegal card games, and also served as an opium den and a brothel. So things were wild. There was gambling, there were shootouts, lots of drinking. In the 1940s and 50s, amid the Western movie craze, several movies you probably know of were filmed nearby in Sedona and Oak Creek Canyon. And during filming, many of the actors chose the Hotel Monte Vista as a place to relax, have a drink, gamble, and unwind after long days on the set. Some of the most well-known guests included Gary Cooper, John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, Bing Crosby, John Bon Jovi, and Spencer Tracy. A scene from Casablanca was even filmed inside the hotel, and it was also featured in the movie Forrest Gump. The Monte Vista continued to be the longest publicly held commercial property in Arizona until it was sold to a private investor in the early 1960s, who narrowed the building's focus to strictly hotel and rental services. The hotel stands as one of the oldest in Flagstaff and has been listed on the U.S. Register of Historic Places. Okay, so let's talk about the spooky stuff. Although the hotel is renowned as a charming relic of history, the Monte Vista is more infamously known as one of the most haunted hotels in America, and it's easy to see why. Guests report being followed by phantom footsteps, coming across a menacing shadow figure near the basement, and hearing whispers of disembodied voices throughout the halls. The sound of a band playing in the lobby at night is a common occurrence, as well as the sight of a phantom couple who are known to dance the night away in the cocktail lounge. In the 1940s, 2 sex workers came back to room 306 at the hotel with a client. But before the night was over, the 2 women were murdered and their bodies were thrown out the window. Now guests of room 306 have reported feeling as though they're being watched. Men are reportedly popular targets in this room, waking up in the middle of the night feeling as though they can't breathe and having nightmares of being strangled while they're staying in the room. In the 1970s, 3 men robbed a nearby bank. During the robbery, one of the men was shot, and despite their injured friend, the robbers decided to stop by the Hotel Monte Vista to hide out and celebrate their success with a drink. The injured man bled out before he could finish his drink, and he's reported to be lingering around the hotel to this day. He has been seen as a half-formed apparition standing near the bar. Guests and staff have heard a disembodied voice greeting them with a good morning, and there have also been reports of drinks and bar stools moving on their own. One spirit known to cause havoc for staff and guests alike is that of a phantom bellboy. Many guests, including John Wayne himself, have come into contact with this bellboy. Some guests have reported hearing a knock at the door along with a muffled room service, but when they open the door, no one is there. One report includes seeing a young male in an old-fashioned red coat with brass buttons walking up and down the halls. John Wayne claimed that the bellboy seemed friendly and he wasn't threatened by him at all. The basement is a really creepy spot in the hotel, and what makes it even more creepy is the sound of a baby crying. Employees have reported hearing a baby crying in the basement on several different occasions, and it's usually enough to cause them to sprint out of the basement to get away from the sounds. Now on to another creepy part of the hotel. Room 220 was home to a long-term guest who was known for his strange habit of hanging meat from the chandelier. He died in his hotel room in the 1980s, and his body was discovered a few days after his death. A maintenance man was doing repairs in the room one day, and everything, including the TV and lights, were off when he left the room. But when he returned, the TV was on with the volume all the way up, and the bed linens were thrown around the room. Room 220 is now known for disembodied voices, strange noises, and reports of guests being touched by a man in their sleep. Nope. And finally, the most popular haunting in the hotel is in room 305, the John Bon Jovi room. And most reports revolve around the rocking chair in the room. Guests report seeing the rocking chair moving on its own. These reports are fueled by the story of a long-term guest, an elderly woman who used to sit in the rocking chair in front of the window. Staff have reported seeing the apparition of an elderly woman sitting in the rocking chair, as well as hearing knocking sounds coming from inside the closet in the room. And that is the story of the Hotel Monte Vista. I'm in love with this hotel, by the way. I'm already planning my visit, and if you've stayed there, I'd love to hear your experience. Thanks for tuning in today. I know it was a shorty, but I hope you enjoyed it. The sources for today's episode will be listed on the blog post for the episode at www.thehauntedcorner.com. I will link to the blog post in the show notes. Check out the other episodes of The Haunted Corner available now wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping every Monday and Thursday. If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to share your support, head over to Patreon. You will have immediate access to the Big Nose George episode that was just released. It's gotten some pretty good feedback. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed on Patreon. Your support means a lot, and it really helps the show keep moving. So if you want to check out that episode, you'll have access to all the Patreon exclusive episodes early and ad-free access to these episodes if you subscribe at the $5 per month level, plus a lot more. So head over to patreon.com/The Haunted Corner to join now. Follow us on social media at The Haunted Corner on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. If you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to tell a friend, rate and review wherever you listen, subscribe on YouTube. If you have a case suggestion or a correction to share, send it to thehauntedcorner@gmail.com or submit it through the website. And until next time, be kind, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Bye.